is a cool theater. Great.
Thank you, Ari Aster, to be here with us. We are really honored to have you here. And the first time it was digital, just on the screen, and this time we have him here, so we are really very happy. And parleremo solo in inglese perché c'è poco tempo, purtroppo, e quindi evitiamo la traduzione che allungherebbe molto i tempi. E farò io un paio di domande e poi se ci sarà tempo potete farne anche voi naturalmente, quindi preparatevi. And so I know you don't have so much time, you're a bit tired after a long day. We will not translate because they are young and I think all of them understand. And then you speak a very clear English. I have heard all of your interviews, and I don't think they will have any problem. So I will make maybe the first one or two questions, and I will give them the microphone. The other time we spoke about a sort of trilogy of your three first movies. I think most of them have seen Hereditary, and I think they have seen Midsommar, most of them, and maybe also Beau is Afraid. And we last time we spoke about a sort of thread that was running all along those three movies, and now these four movies, for a fourth movie. And I wanted to ask you, actually, as Beau is Afraid, this too has been born before. It was a long work to arrive to this movie. So you didn't start actually with thinking about your two horrors. You started with some other ideas, and then you finally could finish this movie after the other two. So how was it, and how are they connected?
Beau is Afraid and
Beau is Afraid, and also Hereditary and Midsommar.
well, yeah, Beau is Afraid. I wrote a version of that a long time ago, about 13 years ago, and it was even stupider. And was maybe funnier, but there was less soul, maybe. And I somehow deluded myself into thinking that that was makeable as my first film, and it wasn't. When I actually ended up making it, it was, $35 million, and that was hard to make work. But of course, it made back like $200 million, so it's okay. It didn't. It was, to be clear, it was a flop, a financial flop. But yeah, I don't know. So I didn't make that film first. I think I sent it to a producer at one point, and the producer wrote back to me, "Yeah, this is all good and well, but do you just not want to make a movie?" So, so then I got a little strategic, and I thought, okay, I better write something a little bit more commercial, like a horror movie.
But you were passionate about horror movies,
Yeah,
I guess.
I'm passionate about movies.
And then you slowly went to something different that you had already thought about before. And with this movie, you really go out of genre. You mix. It's not yet, and I don't have to say yet. It's not just reality, but it's very rooted in reality. This is us. This is our world.
Yeah. No, I mean, yes, it is. It's set in New Mexico, and I'm from New Mexico, and I know that region well. And it is grounded in reality. Um, but as the film goes on, it gets a little weirder. Uh, and it's a movie about a bunch of paranoid people, and then by the end, the movie becomes paranoid. Um, but yes, it is. It is more than my other films, very rooted in not only the real world, but this this time. I mean, it's set in 2020, but uh, I think you could argue that we are on the same path that was inaugurated around that time.
And when did you start thinking about this subject in New Mexico?
In 2020. Um, yeah. Just things feel crazy in the United States. They were feeling crazy at that time, and I wanted to try to get my hands around it and wrestle with it and try to make some sense of it, um, but not in a prescriptive way. I didn't. I don't have any answers for how we get out of this uh, dilemma that we're in. But I did want to make a film that reflected what it feels like to live in a world where nobody agrees on what is real, um, and, where everybody is basically living in the internet, which people were pretty excited about in the early '90s. It was this utopian idea that it was going to connect everybody. That is not how it has evolved. And I don't think that's an innocent consequence of, just the internet turns out to not be a good thing. It's just, it's when financial interests get involved, and it's same thing with social media. It's a tool. So it's not inherently bad, but it's the way that the tool is being wielded that's, you know, not good, to say the least.
Yeah, it starts with fake news, with uh, conspiracy theories, with social media, etc. And then slowly there are more and more themes inside, and it ends with guns, or towards the end, guns have a big role in the movie. So you connect these two aspects of craziness in our world.
Yeah, well, um, somebody was asking me yesterday, what is more, I mean, it's a silly question. What is more dangerous? Like the phones or the guns? And it's like, well, because of the phones, the guns are more likely to be used. Right? I mean, it's like I'm afraid of the way that that I don't know. It's hard to talk about these things and not be like pat, or not be just saying broad things. But yeah, it feels like this. It feels like we're living through an experiment that has like really badly failed. It hasn't failed for everybody. Um, it's a success for some people, very few. Um, and nobody who's in charge seems interested in slowing this down. If anything, it's accelerating, and we're ushering in a technology that will effectively strap jetpacks to the course that we're on. And yeah, living in a country that does fetishize guns, and we love our guns. Like where is all this agitation leading? Like where does it go?
So I would like to hear sentences and questions from them. If you have already something to ask, if you're ready, if you're not too shy, I'm here. Okay, with the microphone.
Hello, thank you. So I noticed that in most of your movies there are close structures. Like for example, there is the cult, Midsommar is the family, and here is Eddington, and looks like everything from the outside is bad. For example, the cop. So I wanted to ask if you, when you think about a movie, you think about the structure, for example, the city, or you think about the plot, the COVID, and then you set into a city. If it's not personal, thank you.
Um, well, it really depends on the project. In this case, I wanted a I wanted to I wanted to make a movie about a bunch of people living in the internet. And so I wanted to make a film about a community that is not a community. They're living in the same rooms as each other, but they're not living on the same plane as each other, and they can't reach each other. Um, they all have the answer. They all know what the answer is. They know what's wrong, and everybody else is uh, has been misled and is wrong. Um, and so that was the idea. And I also, in this case, I thought that the most interesting way to go at this topic was to have a main character that doesn't really believe the things that I believe, right? Like he has different politics than I do. Um, and I guess part of the project, I mean, it's a satire, which means that everybody is kind of under scrutiny in the film. But it was important to me to reach for the humanity in the people that I might disagree with, and then turn a mirror on myself and on maybe characters who hold beliefs that are closer to mine. Um, and so by structure, I assume you mean like the architecture, right? Yeah. Um, so the architecture was kind of designed to support those ideas, and for the film to not be to to avoid at every cost easy answers. This is a film where I risk people misunderstanding this, and that felt more interesting to me. Uh, it felt like to do the thing, to preach to a choir it's like that's useful. I mean, it makes people feel galvanized and less alone, but this is sort of about a broader problem. Um, and so there are there are people who, when that jet starts flying in, you know, uh, that's where the movie is either a satire or I'm being or like I'm telling you this is real. These people are that this is a and so that's you make up your mind, I guess, but I guess I'm telling you what I feel. It's a satire, but it's yeah.
Yeah, it's a satire, and there is humorism, and there is irony, but at the same time, it looks very pessimistic.
Yeah, I mean, um, I don't know.
We
How does
start
it look?
with two
How
two
does it
men
feel
that,
to you guys? I mean, do
yeah,
you feel
we start with two
good?
guys that both love their community. They could even agree on some subjects, probably, but it it starts to be a war after a while, after a minute.
Well, it, is it, maybe it's a little pessimistic. I don't think it's nihilistic. Um, I think the key to the movie is in that final shot. You know, if the movie's about anything, it's about a data center being built outside of a small town, right? And so it's pessimistic about, again, the course that we're on right now. But you know, like the question is there another way? Like I don't have that answer, so I'm not going to provide it for you, or I'm not going to give like the prescription if I don't have it. But yeah, I mean, the movie is about a bunch of people who are going after their neighbors, while something happens over their head that they're not looking at. And so, you know, I think maybe inherent in that final shot is the suggestion that your neighbor is maybe not your enemy, your real enemy.
Are there other questions here? Okay.
Thank you. I've got two questions to Mr. Aster. And the first one is about a connected theme that I found in all of your movies that is quite particular, but lead us to make a deep reflection. So I think that in every movie by you, there's this recurring theme that the main character became like a victim of our society, and he is even defined by it. And I wanted to, as you know, ask you why do you, I mean, what I wanted to ask you is the movies are profound critics of this type, see, there is a sort of the establishment of this involution process in our society that is provoked by Western politics that began 3, 4, even 5 decades ago, and this has led to us to be more vulnerable and less aware about the context that we're living in. And what I want to ask you is, do you think that a more and profound awareness of culture and art can make us, make everyone be more aware and more critic about not only us but the entire society and the process that leads this society to that has led the society to this extremely dramatic situation. And the second one is more simple is we know that you love lots of Italian, European movies, and your admiration for Italian cinema, even French. And what I want to ask you is if there is a possibility to make a movie one day with Italian or European crew or actors in telling a story that involve Europe and its culture in general?
Well, so for the second question, yeah, maybe I'll need to. But yes, I would love to make a film in Europe. And to answer the first question, so the first question you're asking,
Short question, please.
the first question is do I think that art and culture can prevent?
Yeah, can help us to be more conscious.
I mean, art and culture is here. It's like there. I don't see it being more pervasive now than if anything, I see a retreat from art and culture. I mean, I at least in my country, it feels like like we're not like living through like a renaissance right now. So I would say that would be nice. But I don't know. I mean, no, I think that's kind of a Pollyanna view. But yes, I think art and art is very important. I obviously think that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Difficult to have an answer for such questions. The second one, if you would do a movie. You have already. Okay, I was talking, sorry. Francesco, tu avevi una domanda? Yeah.
Watching the movie, I was thinking about the fact that COVID was lived by billions of people all around the world, yet your movie is one of the very few that really confront the theme, that really face it in the eyes, it seems to me, in those 5 years. So I'd like to know how much was important for you to face this theme, and if you think there was a sort of subconscious want to suppress the theme in cinema, to just throw it away from the screen until now.
I mean, yeah, I wanted to confront it. I mean, if anything, I feel like the culture has become so obscene that I couldn't quite depict it as it is, because it would be like unbearable. So in some ways, I think I kind of sanded the edges off. But yeah, why are more people not making films about COVID? I think, well, first of all, because thanks for coming, but who wants to watch a movie about COVID? But I don't think we've metabolized what happened during lockdown, because I think we're still living through the process of whatever that was that started then. I think COVID was like an inflection point. It wasn't really the beginning of anything, but it was the moment where like the door got kicked shut behind us and we became stranded in this situation. And I think the reason that probably a lot of people are making art that's set in other times and is our fantasies is because this is a very unpleasant time to live in, and I understand the desire to move towards escapism or nostalgia, especially nostalgia. Yeah.
C'è qualcuno che ha una domanda breve?
Thank you. My question, sorry for my bad English, first of all, it's about the direction. You talk because meanwhile I was watching the movie, I was really liking it. I felt really paranoid. Then at one point, it feels like everything is thrown away and there is the chase scene. Because there I felt like the protagonist had a reason to be paranoid because someone was following him to kill him, and he lost this weird psychological aspect of the movie, and I felt like the protagonist was absolved of everything wrong he did in that moment because he had a reason to be paranoid about everything. So I want to ask you why this you made this choice to change the vibes of movie.
Well, as I said, the movie begins in one way where every character is paranoid, and then at some point in the film becomes gripped by that paranoia, and the movie becomes paranoid too. And I would say, how would I describe? So, in some ways, the film becomes, in a strange way, a kind of perverse, kind of depraved wish fulfillment fantasy for him as well, right? Because he's a sheriff, right? He grew up watching movies with John Wayne, and he grew up watching. But the thing is, he's 50 years old, right? So that means he would have really been around for the action movies of the 80s and the 90s. And that's a big part of his imagination. And his imagination, by the way, is being agitated by all the things on his phone, by all the media that he's like swimming in, especially now that he is under threat because he killed these people, and that's and maybe people are coming in to avenge this. Who are they? You know, that's meant to be a Rorschach test based on whatever your politics are. It's probably it's more fraught in the States. This question of of who's on the jet, that's meant to activate people in the United States more than anywhere else. But at the end of the movie, he gets to live in an action movie, right? And so it felt to me right that I should end this movie like an American movie, right? That you're right. It does kind of unravel, and all this new language kind of comes in, right? Like he comes out of that building like he's Rambo. But then there's also this like video game language. It's almost like Call of Duty. It's like, these things that we like ingest, they matter. They become a part of the cultural imagination, and they become a part of our imagination. And so that is my way of explaining why the film goes there. And the people that are shooting at him, we never see them, right? And so he's sort of shooting at phantoms. I'm not saying they're not real, but the anonymity of that, these anonymous people shooting from the dark, that also makes me think of the internet, right? Or Twitter or whatever, Anyway.
All right.
Thank you a lot. Could you tell us more about this Agents of Chaos, this masked people on the plane? Who are they? And was it intentional to keep them completely anonymous, so to leave us without answers by the end of the movie? Thank you.
Yes. Yes. I mean, I'm going to repeat an answer that I gave earlier, so I don't want to overdo it, but it's a Rorschach test. It's meant to be, it's clearly suggested who they are, I think. But then the question is, is it satirical? Is it am I joking? Is it like irony, or is it or am I being sincere? And I guess that was part of an experiment, because what some people in America think is ridiculous, other people do not think it's ridiculous. And so, you know, what is satire to somebody is just going to go over their head for somebody else. So it's it was sort of an attempt at being modern.
I think it's. I read somewhere that you knew from the beginning that your movie would have been divisive, would have been split people into different opinions, and maybe this part of the movie that is so ambivalent is what you had already thought about.
Yeah, I knew that it was going to be polarizing, but when you put out a movie, you just want everybody to like it. Like, you just, and so, you know, I guess it's masochistic on some level. But yes, I mean, it's a film about atomization, and it's a film about how divided we've become and how unreachable we've become to each other. And the film is playing in very important places with ambiguity. So, you know, you're risking misunderstanding when you do that, and it felt more important to open myself to that and make something that I felt was getting more directly to the point than not. And I guess the point is, it's not so simple, and it is complicated. Some things aren't. Some things are simple, but even those things are made complicated for many people. Yeah, but it's an interesting film to do Q&As for, because I do go out thinking, all right, about half of you hate this. Like, what's the number? Who's hopefully not half. Hopefully it's like 10 people.
Thank you very much, Ari.
Do you want to raise your hand? Who hated it? No? Really? Come on. Okay. All right.
I don't know if they are sincere, but I'm sure that most of all loved the movie. And who knows, maybe outside they will debate on it, and we will try to hear what they say. In the next days we will interview them, so we will have some feedback for sure. Meanwhile, thank you very much for being here. It's been an honor, a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
And of course, now you have to talk about the movie so that all of your friends are coming next days. Thank you to you too. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you for coming. Thank you.
L'uscita è questa qui di fianco allo schermo sulla mia destra. Per favore, quindi tutti di qua. Grazie.